Poor water quality, run-down infrastructure, extended contact with humans. These were the main criticisms two visiting marine experts had of Sentosa's underwater world, where a pink dolphin was recently discovered to be suffering from skin cancer.
This was one of the worst facilities I've ever seen for water quality. The tank was full of algae, chipped paint, and the water quality was simply below standards. Not that difficult to keep algae from growing like that.
Could that have been a contributing factor to the dolphin developing skin cancer?
I'm not a veterinarian and I haven't examined that dolphin, and I don't want to attribute any cause to the skin condition. What I'm saying is, given that it has this skin condition, whatever caused it, poor water quality is not going to help it. It's not going to assist in healing that condition. It's not going to assist the dolphin in healing. And so the bad water quality is much worse because they've got a sick dolphin. They've got a dolphin with a skin condition. If all the dolphins were healthy and had good skin, you know, that'd be one thing, but they have an extra responsibility to improve their water quality because of that dolphin.
Their immune system is probably affected. There was a very small amount of shade structure there, so they're being subjected to the UV radiation all day long, and I'm sure that affects their skin as well.
And generally speaking, it's because of pollution or bad water quality in enclosed bodies of water. And so the fact that this dolphin has a skin condition and that it's not healing is probably a reflection of water quality as well as whatever underlying condition the dolphin has. There are two problems with the tank right now. One is the actual infrastructure is deteriorated. There's rust, there's chipped paint, which is extremely dangerous for the dolphins. It means the paint's been flecking off and chipping off into the water. So that's something that's going to require the dolphins to be moved temporarily and the tank completely drained and resurfaced.
I think what they have to do is get those dolphins out of there, and they need to completely resurface that tank, and they need to look at what's going on with the water quality. From looking at that pool, and I don't know, if you've got anything to add to that, but from looking at that pool, I don't think there's anything salvageable about that.
The other problem it has is the algae growth, which is indicative of potentially high fecal coliform. Basically, they're pooping into the water and it's not being kept clean enough. That's actually something they could deal with in the short term. Sometimes all you have to do is manually scrub the walls, lower the water level and get in with the trainers, and they just manually scrub the walls and get rid of all of that algae. Why they're not doing at least that, just for aesthetic reasons, it looks terrible.
I haven't seen a tank that looks worse in all the places that I've seen. So yes, they could absolutely go in and clean the algae off the tanks, and still, then you still got the question of what's going on with the filtration system. Why is it not taking out the fecal matter? Yeah, are they not chlorinating it? Is it not chemically balanced? What's going on in that situation has to be addressed.
I mean, if you just had a swimming pool at a hotel or whatever, you wouldn't want it to look like that. And I'm not saying they need to keep the water sterile. I mean, these animals do live out in the ocean, and they don't need sterile conditions, but they need clean conditions. And that water's not clean.
At the very least, they need to get in an expert on water quality who can evaluate what's going on with the water quality. Why is this situation happening that way? Another thing that was surprising to me that I haven't seen before was after the show, they allowed pictures to be taken with the dolphins.
That dolphin was stationed, beached on a shallow ledge for as long as it took all of those people to get those photographs taken. That's not a natural amount of time to remain beached like that. It's actually very stressful for them to have gravity acting on them for that length of time.
There were probably at least 50 people lined up to take pictures, and that went on for a good 15 minutes after the show. And so I don't think that's appropriate for those animals to be subjected to that.
It's one thing to have them performing and everybody, all the strangers, all the people in the audience are sitting in the stadium seating and not getting close to the animals. It's another thing to have a parade of strange people going in and out of the tank of these very social animals that live in stable communities. They're not used to having a parade of strangers go through their lives. It's an extremely unnatural experience.
Given the gravity of the situation, can anything be done immediately to make the dolphins more comfortable?
Global industry of dolphinariums have standards. And this enclosure, this facility, doesn't meet those standards. There are ways to fix it, some of which are long-term, some of which are short-term. It would be nice if the management was willing to discuss that. And basically, again, they have an extra responsibility at Underwater World because of this dolphin they have with this skin condition.
And I would also question Why are they having so many people interact with the animals?
There was no supervision of the public as they were standing around a very low barrier. Little kids could just climb right over that and go into the water if they wanted to. So this isn't just an issue of the dolphins' welfare, this is also a public safety issue. Again, this is something that could be addressed in the short term.
So, is the underwater world doing anything right?
Yeah, interestingly, I actually thought the show was pretty good. It was relatively low-key, there was a great deal of educational information in it, relatively limited in terms of what they do in the wild, but it was informative. Normally the show is total entertainment and there's lots of loud music, so this was a better show than most.
And I like that it was short, that it was kept short and sweet and it wasn't extended. But again, I think one of my feeling on that is one of the reasons they maybe did that is because they're making more money by keeping it as a shorter show and then paying people to get in the water with the animals. But in terms of the dolphins, I think it's probably not necessarily better for them. But what we observed, even for the brief period of time, is the same problem that you have with all marine parks and aquariums, is you can't meet their social needs and you can't meet their spatial needs in a marine park or an aquarium environment in a pool. It's just not possible.